So in previous session, we have discussed what is stack memory and what is heap memory. So all the value type variables would be stored on the stack memory and all the reference type variables would be stored on the heap memory. But in the case of stack, once the application is closed or the function completes its task, all the variables created by that function or by that application would be deleted from the stack by the runtime environment. But the objects which was stored on the heap are still there even if the application is closed. So heap memory is managed by garbage collector and not by the runtime environment. So what is garbage collector? So the garbage collector is a background thread which take care of all the memory management of heap memory. So those objects which was not referred by any application root would get deleted by garbage collector. So the garbage collector is a background thread. It is not a separate process and not a particular executable file. It is a part of existing application. So every application has its own garbage collector. So let's discuss in detail what is garbage collector. Microsoft has made automatic memory management part of the .NET CLR, which allows it to be used from any .NET language. A programmer creates an object using the new operator and receives a reference to it. The CLR allocates that object memory from managed heap. What does it mean? So whenever we are creating any object by using new operator, the object actually would be created on managed heap and the reference variable is stored on the stack. So that reference variable is pointing to the memory address of heap where that actual object is stored on the managed heap. The Microsoft .NET Common Language Runtime requires that all resources be allocated from the managed heap only. An object to which all the references have been disappeared is called garbage and removed from the heap. This entire operation is called as garbage collection. So garbage collector will decide whether that object is live or dead on the basis of that particular object is whether referred by any application root or not. If it is not, then it would be considered as a dead object. Otherwise, it would be a live object. In managed heap, objects are automatically freed when they are no longer needed by the application. The garbage collector in .NET is implemented as a thread within the application process. It is not a separate executable, nor is it a completely independent process. So as we have already discussed, it is a part of the application process only. So it worked as a background thread. So garbage collector follows the algorithm. There are different conditions that garbage collector will check. So the first condition is garbage collector only occur when the heap is full. When the garbage collector starts running, it makes the assumption that all the objects in the heap are garbage. So suppose this is our application, which contains application root 1, application root 2, and application root 3. So root 1 object created this object on him. Root 2 object had created this object and root 3 these objects. But after some time, suppose application root 1 has finished its task and it would be closed. Then in that case, this object is not referred by any application root because root 1 is closed. So that's why garbage collector will consider this garbage as a dead object. And these three objects are referred by application root 2 and 3. So that's why these would be a live objects. In other words, it assumes that none of the application roots refer to any objects in the heap. Now the garbage collector starts walking the application roots and building a graph of all objects reachable from the roots or not. So here, as I said, root 1 has created this object, root 2 has created this object, and root 3 created this one and this one. So at the first time, garbage collector assumes that all the objects in managed heap are dead objects. And after that, it will walk through these application roots and it will check whether that application root is referring any object from managed heap or not. If yes, it would be considered as a live object. In case of 2, this object is referred by 2, so that's why it is also considered as a live object. So the garbage collector start walking the application routes and building a graph of all objects reachable from that route. So garbage collector will make a graph of it. What does it mean? This is the parent root, this object, which is referred by application root 1. So this is considered as a root object. So if any root object creating another object, or these two objects are referred by this object, then garbage collector will make a graph of it. So graph is nothing but the tree view. So garbage collector will make a graph of each and every application root to check whether that application root referring any object from managed heap or not. And if yes, it will make a graph of it. So what are the different types of application roots? So local variables on stack variables, global variables, CPU registers, finalizer queue, and thread stacks would be considered as a application roots. So the application roots are the entry point for garbage collector to check whether the objects from managed heap are referred by any application root or not. So these are the entry points for the garbage collector. So this information provided to garbage collector by JIT compiler and CLR. GC also traverses objects and checks if any root object referring another object or not. If so, then GC will make a graph of it. So here in case of this diagram, this root is referred by application root 1, and that root object is also creating one more object, object A, object B, and B creating the next object, that is C. So garbage collector will make a graph of it. Once all the roots are checked, then GC will walk through heap linearly and delete those objects which are not referred by any application roots, and also shift down non-garbage objects. So suppose this root 1 has been closed. After that, this object would be considered as a dead object. So that's why garbage collector will delete that object from the memory. So garbage collector also shift down non-garbage objects. It is called as compacting phase. We will check this in detail in further tutorial. So this is the tree view diagram of managed heap. So this is the application roots. So this application root referring C object, and C object created F and G objects, and J and K objects are referred by F and G respectively. So garbage collector will make a graph of it. So these objects would be considered as a live objects because these objects are referred by application root. And here object A, B, and E, it is not referred by any application root from the application. So that's why it would be considered as dead objects. So let's understand this in detail with this animation. Suppose this is our application which contain root 1 and root 2. So root 1 had created these pink objects from the managed heap, and this one, and all the blue objects is created by application root 2. So after some time, suppose this application root 1 has closed after the completion of its task, then all the pink objects from the memory would be considered as a garbage objects by garbage collector. So this memory size is 4 MB, 2 MB, 2 MB, and 2 MB. So the total freeable space is 10 MB. But after deletion of these objects, this 4 MB would be available for the next application root. This 2 MB would be available, this 2 MB, and this 2 MB. But suppose application root 3 has need to create an object which requires 8 MB size, as we discussed. So after deletion of these pink objects, continuous 8 MB size is not available in managed heap. So to avoid this, Garbage collector will delete these objects from the memory and shift down these live objects to the older memory location. So at the end, we will get 10 MB continuous freeable space for application root 3. So now garbage collector will delete these pink objects and shift down all the live objects to the older memory location. So now 10 MB defragmented space would be created by the garbage collector. So that would be available for application root 3 to create the objects whenever it required. So garbage collector follows the algorithm which contains 3 steps. First one is marking phase, second one is relocating phase, third one is the compacting phase. So this is the application root 1, root 2 and root 3. This is our stack memory and this is our heap memory. So in marking phase, garbage collector will check whether those objects from the heap memory would be referred by any application root or not. If these objects are referred by application root, then it would be considered as a live objects, and garbage collector will make a list of those objects, which is also called as list of live objects. So in second phase, that is nothing but the relocating phase, in which garbage collector will update only the reference variables from the stack and not the actual objects from the memory. What does it mean? Suppose after some time, this application root 1 is closed. So objects which are referred by this application root are considered to be a dead object and must be removed by the garbage collector. After that, in previous slide, we have checked there is a shifting down of the live objects to the older memory location. In that case, garbage collector need to move these live objects which was referred by application root to a new memory location. But in second phase, suppose this is stack, this is object 1 referring this 101 object. This is object 2 reference, which is referring this object. Object 3, which is referring this object. Similarly, so in relocating phase, we are only updating the reference variables and not the actual objects. So now it is pointing to this memory location, which is freed by the garbage collector, this memory location, and this memory location. So now the object reference gets updated to the new memory location, but the actual objects are still there in the memory. So when these objects would be shifted to new memory location in third phase, that is nothing but the compacting phase. So dead objects released and live objects compacted and moved. So that is our third phase, that is compacting phase. So marking phase, a list of all live objects is created during the marking phase. This is done by following the references from all the root objects. All the objects that are not on the list of live objects are potentially deleted from the heap memory. So those objects which are not present in this list would be considered as a dead object and must be deleted by the garbage collector in third phase, that is nothing but the compacting phase. Relocating phase. Here the locations that is references of the live objects are updated to the point to the new spots. What does it mean? It means these object reference would be updated to new memory location in heap memory, but the actual objects are not shifted yet, where they will be moved in next phase. So as we discuss, actual shifting of objects would be done in compacting phase, not in relocating phase. So the relocating phase is responsible to update only the reference variables from the stack. So it will be point to a new memory location in next phase. compacting phase. The heap gets compacted in the compacting phase as the space occupied by the dead objects is released and the live objects remaining are moved. All the live objects that remain after the garbage collection are moved towards the older end of the heap memory in their original order. So in compacting phase, all the dead objects are removed from the managed heap and all the live objects would be shifted to new memory locations, which was decided in relocating phase. Before the garbage collector starts updating references or moving objects, it triggers the stop the world event. So what is stop the world event and what is the necessity of it? Suppose this is our stack memory. This is reference variable 1, reference variable 2, and reference variable 3. This is our heap memory, which contains multiple objects, which are reference type variables. Now, reference 1 is pointing to this object, reference 2 is pointing to this object, and reference 3 is pointing to this object. But during the relocating phase, after deletion of the garbage objects, suppose these objects are not considered by any reference or application routes, so these would be considered as a dead object by garbage collector and must be deleted from the managed heap. So in second phase, relocating phase, garbage collector will update the reference variables to the new memory location. So this is the new memory location, this is the new memory location, and this is the new memory location for reference 3 object. But the actual objects are still there on its original memory address. Only the reference variables are pointed to new memory location. Suppose meanwhile, if our application is also running parallelly and trying to use these reference objects, then it is pointing to a garbage objects. So it will fetch a wrong data or it will throw a null exception because actual objects are not shifted yet. So to avoid this thing, garbage collector will call stop the world event. So what is the use of stop the world event? So this means that all application threads are paused, preventing any access to the objects while the garbage collector is performing its work. So during this time, all the threads would get in pause state. During this time, no part of the application can access or modify objects. So meanwhile, application cannot use those memory addresses or those objects from the memory. So it would be in a pause state. This ensures that the system is in a consistent state while the GC is updating references and moving objects. Once the application is paused, the GC updates the references to point to a new memory locations. Then it moves the live objects to their new locations in memory. So let's understand with this animation. So there is one application is running on the system which contains 3 application routes. First one is application route 1, second one is application route 2, and third one is application route 3. Now application route 1 finished its task, so that's why it is deleted from the stack, but the objects are created by that application route are still there in the managed heap. So as we are aware, there are 3 steps of garbage collector. First one is make a list of live objects. Second one is update the references. And third one is the compacting phase. So now garbage collector will check each and every object, whether it is a live object and it is used by any application route or not, and make a list of it. So the first step is marking phase. So now garbage collector will check whether the object is referred by any application route. Yes, so it is a live object. Similarly, it will check all the objects from the managed heap. So here object 2 and object 1 not referred by any application route. So that's why it is considered as dead objects. So the next step is updating the references. So after deletion of object 1 and object 2, these live objects would get relocated to older memory addresses. So that's why in second phase, we will update the references to new memory locations. So now relocating phase comes into the picture in which we are updating the memory addresses of the existing object to which the objects get shifted in next phase. That is nothing but the compacting phase. So once all the references are pointed to new memory location, garbage collector will execute next phase. That is nothing but the compacting phase. Now garbage collector will delete those objects and shift all the live objects to the older generation, that is older addresses. So the defragmented memory would be used by next application rules. So where the new application rules will create new objects here only. So this is the defragmented memory which is done by the garbage collector. So the garbage collector uses 3 generations, that is generation 0, generation 1 and generation 2. So what are these generations? Heap generations in a garbage collection. The heap memory is organized into 3 generations so that various objects with different lifetimes can be handled appropriately during the garbage collection. Generations refer to memory management concept used by the garbage collector to organize and manage memory allocations and delocations efficiently. The .NET garbage collector employs a generational garbage collection strategy to improve the performance of memory management in managed applications. So we will discuss this in detail with the help of animation further. What is generation 0, what is generation 1 and what is generation 2 and how actually objects move to the next generation if it survives the current generation. Generation 0. This is where newly created objects are initially allocated. It's a small, short-lived generation designed for objects that are expected to become garbage quickly. So whenever any new application runs, it will create all the objects in generation 0. So the heap memory is divided into 3 parts: generation 0, generation 1 and generation 2. When any application runs, it will create first objects on generation 0. So next generation is generation 1. Objects that survive a garbage collection in generation 0 get promoted to generation 1. It's larger than generation 0 and contains objects that have slightly longer lifetime. Suppose one application is running on the system which will call multiple methods. So once the method performs its task, so all the local variables which are stored on the stack memory and the reference variables on the heap memory. So once the execution is done, then those objects would be deleted by garbage collector from generation 0 only. So there are different types of application routes we have already discussed. There are global variables which would be used by different methods in the application. So the global variables have a bigger lifetime than the local variables. So those variables would be shifted to generation 1 which survive the generation 0. So objects that survive a garbage collection in generation 0 get promoted to generation 1 and it is a larger in size than generation 0. So the next one is generation 2. This is the largest and longest life generation. Objects that survive multiple garbage collections in generation 1 get promoted to generation 2. These are typically long-lived objects that are expected to be around for a while. What does it mean? Garbage collector frequently visit this section, generation 0, generation 1 and generation 2. So most of the time garbage collector will check only the generation 0, then generation 1 and very few times in generation 2 because the objects in generation 2 are must be longest lived generations who survived generation 0 and generation 1. So when garbage collector visit generation 1 multiple times and check those objects are previously are live objects are still live objects in multiple traversing time, those objects are considered to be long-lived objects and then only those would get shifted to generation 2. Why do we need generations? Normally, when we are working with big applications, they can create thousands of objects. So for each of these objects, if the garbage collector goes and checks if they are needed or not, it's really a bulky process. So every time garbage collector will traverse the managed heap and will check whether that object is used by application or not, then it will take a long time, or it will slow down our main application thread. So to avoid that, garbage collector use generations. So by creating such generation, what it means, if an object in generation 2 buckets, it means the garbage collector will do fewer visits to this bucket. The reason is, if an object move to generation 2, it means it will stay more time in the memory. It's no point going and checking them again and again. So as we are aware, garbage collection is a background process and it is not managed by developer or application. It is a background process and it would be executed when the stack gets full. But in real life scenario, there might be a condition developer want to trigger this garbage collector as per his requirement. In that case, he will call gc.collect method. In programming languages that use garbage collection, the gc.collect method is typically an explicit way to trigger the garbage collection process. It forces the garbage collector to run and reclaim memory occupied by objects that are no longer in use. So what is the purpose of GC collect? Manual invocation. So as we have already discussed, when developer want to manually trigger garbage collection, in that case, gc.collect method will get called by developer in their application. Garbage collection is usually automatic process. gc.collect allows developers to manually invoke the garbage collection process when they believe it's necessary, such as after a large number of objects have been created and destroyed. Explicitly calling gc.collect can introduce performance overhead due to the collection process. It may lead to longer pause time in the application, especially in real-time application. It is generally recommended to allow the garbage collector to manage memory automatically unless there is a specific need to force collection. So Microsoft has also recommended that it should be a automatic process and no need to call gc.collect method manually, because it will slow down the performance of the application. So let's discuss generations of the garbage collector. So this is the generation 0. So in generation 0, garbage collector runs frequently. What does it mean? It will frequently visit this generation 0 section and will check whether those objects are still referred by any application root or not. So in generation 0, garbage collector frequently visits as compared to generation 1 and as compared to generation 2. So for example, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, and for every 30 minutes. So most frequently visits garbage collector in generation 0, after that generation 1, and then generation 2. So those objects survived in generation 0 would get pushed into the generation 1, and those objects survived in generation 1 finally pushed into the generation 2. So generation 0 are short-lived objects, generation 1 are long-lived objects as compared to generation 0, and in generation 2 a very long-term objects would be stored on generation 2. So suppose there is an application root 1 which creates object 1 and object 2 in generation 0. Application root 2, that is static objects, would be stored on generation 0, and the third application root, that is global objects, would be stored on generation 0. After some time, the first root is closed or finished its task. So object 1 and object 2 are considered as a garbage object by garbage collector and would be deleted from the memory. Now garbage collector will check object 3, 4, 5 are referred by application route. So those get shifted to generation 1. Also object 6 is still referred by application 3. So object 6 is also shifted to generation 1. So meanwhile, new application route 4 comes into the application and it will create object 7 and object 8 in generation 0 only, because the first objects would be created in generation 0 only. After that, garbage collector will check generation 1 after some time and visit multiple times in generation 1. In multiple times, if garbage collector found that 3, 4, 5 and 6 objects are still survived or referred by application routes, so these objects need to be shifted to generation 2. So now garbage collector will check whether object 3, 4, 5, 6 are referred by application routes or not. So that's why those objects are shifted to generation 2. So meanwhile, application route 4 has completed its task and object 7 and object 8 should be deleted from the managed heap. So as we are aware, garbage collector frequently visit generation 0. So it will check whether object 7 and 8 is used by any application route or not, and it would delete those objects from the memory. So after some time, it will again visit generation 2 and will check whether 3, 4, 5 objects are used by the any application route. Yes, but object 6 was referred by application route 3 has complete execution and not referring that object. So that's why garbage collector will delete that object immediately. So these are the objects survived generation 0 and generation 1 multiple times. That's why it would get shifted to generation 2. So these are the long-term objects which are required in our application. So this is the whole algorithm followed by the garbage collector.